question is, I have from the Jonah Code, you were teaching of the 70 weeks being fulfilled. You didn't bring to reference or discussion Daniel 9:25, end of the book. It talks about the 7 weeks, then the 62 weeks, and the Messiah's ministry being cut off. I was taught that it was correct that the last week is a 7-year tribulation period. Please help me understand. No, there's no such thing as a 7-year tribulation period. It's called the confirmation of the covenant. That begins the last 7. What is called the Great Tribulation is when the abomination of desolation stands in the holy place. That is when we are told, if you're in Jerusalem, get out of Dodge immediately. If you're out in the field, don't come back to grab a sweatshirt. If you're on top of the house, don't drop down and get a sleeping bag. You better get out of there like a scalded dog and pray that your flight is not on the Sabbath, because public transportation is completely shut down in Jerusalem on the Sabbath. You better hope that it's not in winter, because you're going to freeze your tuchus out there, because it's cold there. And if you've never been caught in a cold rainstorm and ice storm and snowstorm in Jerusalem and in Israel, in the mountains in the wintertime, folks, you haven't been cold. Because I have. I've been in northern Minnesota for the wintertime. The coldest I ever remember being is caught in a storm downtown Jerusalem in the wintertime. I'll tell you, it's some cold weather up there. And so that is what begins Great Tribulation. It doesn't say that the first half is tribulation, the second half Great Tribulation. It doesn't say that. Hal Lindsey said that. And Brother Hal, he wrote a good book, Late Great Planet Earth. It woke a lot of people up, but a lot of stuff in there. People, you got to determine when the Scripture says something and when a person has an opinion. And there's nothing wrong with someone giving an interpretation, because all of us interpret the Scripture in the light of the geopolitical world in which we find ourselves at that current day and age. And I say that every generation could have looked at their generation, looked at the Scripture, and found the rationale that they were in the last days. Because, in fact, ladies and gentlemen, every generation is the last generation for that generation. That's why I'm living like this is it. You know, if this thing goes on for another 100 years, I'll never know about it, because I've got one chance to get the gospel of the kingdom out to the world, and I will be judged according to my compliance and obedience to what Yeshua said to do. So I'm going all out. All out. This is it. I am all in. And if I go broke and I'm starving to death and heaven doesn't back me up on what I'm doing, then, hey, I'll go out a very skinny person. But there's not much danger in that right now. Anyway.